Hey, thanks for joining. And in this tutorial, we will be making this product that you see here on the demo store. And it's just a GLB file on which we have applied a few different textures to represent different kinds of pictures. And you see here that we have vases, women, and bucket. So these three images are being loaded, and you can also change size to medium or large. So we don't recompute the geometry in this case, we just use BabylonJS to change the size of the model. And we also use code to change the picture, right? So we don't do any parametric intricate things here. So it's pretty basic setup, but you will see that we do need some programming to make it all work. The first thing that I'll do is I'll create a new product in my demo store, and I will call it a picture frame. I will just hit save immediately. And another thing that I will do is upload a few files. And you see that we have now three images. So bucket, vases, and 3D girl. And we have a frame GLB file, right? So these will be useful later, but now let's get back to the product and let's set up some new template for it. So let's get into the picture frame. Let's go here to the default product template and let's hit this icon. When this loads, you will see that it's just an empty product, right? It has no price at the moment. But what we will do is we will say that we want to create a new template for this product. And you see that I already have a lot of templates, and these are all for demo purposes. In this case, we will just create a new template that is called tutorial frame. After that, I will delete it. So let's create it. It's based on the default product. Let's hit this button. And now it's done. So we can add a new block here. So in this product information section, you will need to add bit by bit runner theme app extension block, right? So let's hit that. The runner will allow us to execute TypeScript code that comes from bit by bit. I'll just put it here on the top. And you see that it already loads this default 3D experience. We will not need that, but let's just configure the template now. So you do that each time you create a new template. You need to connect dynamic sources like this. So I'll move my head to make that a bit easier. So public script URL will go here. This you will need to copy into the product. So I will just go here. This is the product that I have opened, and you will see here that I have all those metafields that are custom for this product. And I have here JavaScript, so I will just paste it here, hit save. And now I can just remove everything that's in here, and I will hit 3D bits JavaScript linking. So camera position, that's pretty simple, but we will just for now remove it like that, and we will link it again. So 3D bits camera position, 3D bits target, where is it? Here. Okay, that's great. So in this tutorial, we will not need physics. We will also not need OCT. We will not be using OpenCascade in this case because we will not be modeling anything. We will just load GLB file that is already made in Blender. So let's just disable OpenCascade now. And you will see that now the 3D model will not appear anymore, and that's because exactly the same reason that text was just dynamic, right? It was computed by OpenCascade, and we won't do that anymore in this situation. So what I will also do is I will link the color to 3D bits background color. I will also remove this, and I will link it to the fonts. Like that. We will not be using fonts in this situation as well, because as you saw, we only use a GLB file with some textures. I will be using the spinner while the computations are happening. In this case, the computations happen really fast, so you will not notice a difference, but yeah, let's just do that. And these I will show how they work a bit later, but let's just say that we want to prepend this 3D canvas to the picture media element. And let's just hit save now. So I've created this new template. This runner is version 0.19.1, and that's fine. Let's now go back into the product. Let's make sure that we select the new tutorial frame template that we've created. Let's hit save now. You can add a default price of like maybe 300 for the picture, right? So whatever you prefer. The other thing that I will do is I will just say that the camera position is a bit higher like this. So it's on 333. The target of the camera, so I'll move myself in here. Okay, so I've created the camera position. Now I will say that the target is on 0, 0, 0. And I will say that the background color for the script will be black. And this is for now enough. We can hit save and we can preview this product. And of course, not much will happen in this situation, right? The canvas did initialize. You see that the background color is now black. You can even enter the full screen like this. But yeah, that's not really important in this stage because we don't have a 3D model loaded yet. So to load the 3D model, we will need to go into the bit-by-bit dev. You will need to find this product. I will link it in the description of the video. But basically, you need this project that we have here. It's currently the latest one, so it's easy to find. But we will just hit edit. And you see that this script is already sort of pre-made for you as an example. Quite a few things happen here. So in this situation, we will be creating some variants for the product, and this script will correspond to those variants, and it will be able to distinguish between each of those. So let's first go back into the product where we had it here. So let's now create some variants. So I will do it here, add options like size, and I will say that it's the picture. And I will add the value of a bucket, vases, and women, right? These were three options that we had also in the script. So if you go and open the script here, you see bucket, vases, women. So these need to match exactly. And if you use small letter or something, it will not work. So you have to be really precise in the matching of the values in the script and the variants in here. And I will add another option for size, and it will have S, M, and L variants, right? Okay, so let's hit done, let's hit save. And you see that those variants correspond to these enums here. So whenever we will be looking into the script, you will begin to understand how it all functions. And let's get back to the product. Now we have all the variants, so you can also change the pricing here for all the combinations of your variants. So the price of the smallest one probably will be lowest, and medium maybe will be like 350, and large maybe will be 400. Then maybe vases will start at 400 for small, will be 450 for medium size, and it will be 500 for the large. And let's start like this. Then the medium size picture of women will be like that and like this. So, okay, now I'm done with configuring the variants and their pricing, right? So now I can begin looking into the script itself and see how it works. I will try to explain it a little bit. Okay, so in this script, quite a few things are happening, but the most important part is this start function. So this iteration count is 0 when you open your product for the first time, right? So you open the page and iteration count is 0 because you did not click on any of the variants that you have. And this is the moment where you can initialize your scene. So here we import mesh from the CDN of Shopify. And this is, you see that it's GLB file. I will be updating these links because we uploaded the models in the beginning of the tutorial. But yeah, the important thing is that here we just load the GLB file. Here we load 3 textures. So also from CDN of Shopify. And what we do here, we just update some variables for the textures. We create the material and we assign the texture on that material, right? This part is very important as the picture mesh. So we've named our picture mesh picture in the Blender, right? So we load the GLB file here, and then we take the picture mesh from this GLB file on which we will be applying the texture. And you see here that we say picture mesh.material is material. Here we just initialize the light, and then we just run this function. Basically, the idea is that you only want to change the texture whenever the picture needs to change, right? So if you change only the size through the variant, you don't want to update anything here. So this code just makes sure that that's not going to happen per accident. And this code is the same exact thing. If you are changing the texture through the variant, you don't want to update the size, right? So you will not be touching the scaling or anything for your root mesh. So root is also something that you are probably familiar if you work with Blender. This is something that you export from Blender, and then BabylonJS just knows that the root mesh is called root. So this is so far, I guess, quite understandable, right? What happens here is a bit more complex maybe. So basically scene metadata is something that we use to persist data between iterations. You have to understand that this script will run each time you click on any of the variants, right? So if you want to get your data in the next iteration, so first you initialize everything, right? And then you hit on the variant, you need to somehow access the data. And what we do here, we use scene metadata to persist things between each run of this script. And you will see that here we will just take whatever is there from this scene metadata object. I hope I make myself clear here, but it's pretty common sense that you need to persist your data somewhere. And in this case, I mean, we just chose to persist it on the scene itself. You can use window object probably as well if you are into that, but we think it's maybe a better context to do it here on the scene metadata. Another thing that we do here is we mock some inputs for this context. So we're not now running this script in the context of 3D Bits app, right? We're not in Shopify, we're in bit-by-bit dev environment, but it does work. So if we hit run, right, these mocked values will be picked up, and you see that we have our picture here in this 3D space, right? And you can change some stuff here, you can experiment, you can say that you want to see the vases in your picture frame. The camera is not really well positioned, but you get the point. You can play around with these mocked values. This code will be ignored when it will be running in the context of 3D Bits app. So this is quite important to understand as well. But yeah, basically a lot of that stuff will just be more clear maybe when we will try and execute this code in our product. One thing I will do for this tutorial is I will just go to the content and I will go to the files so you see how it works. So what we will do is we will copy this link, so you will understand maybe immediately how this loading works. What I will do, I will paste it here, and you see that it just needs some editing here. So I will see that we now load frame.glb file from this URL, and then I will go back into these files and we will say that I'll use this picture for the women, paste the link in here. I'll take the vases, I'll paste it here, and I'll take the bucket and I'll paste it here. So now if I run this code, you will see that it should just work as it did before. Nothing really has changed, just the URLs themselves, right? So basically use your own CDN, right, for your own files. And now what I will do is the crux of the matter. is I will be exporting this script to the runner. And what it does, it creates a JavaScript from this TypeScript. So you will not see anymore any, interface declarations, things like that. And you can also minify your code. And that's what I advise you to do. It will just be more concise, and you can then copy it and back into my picture frame example. So here I will find 3dbits inline script metafield. I will paste that script here. I will hit save, and I will just go ahead and preview, and it opens our page, right, with the default bucket picture, because that's what we've selected. So you see that it's sold out, but just ignore that for the tutorial. It doesn't matter. You just need to adjust your product with the inventory to make it all work. But if I hit vases, you will see that the picture changed, the woman, the picture has changed, and the size is now also working, right? So the script executes each time as we've expected, without any impediments. Be sure to control your scripts. These properties, they really need to match what you do with the variants. So if you name your variant with just a different case letter, for example, so you say that it's not picture but pictures or something, it will just not pick it up. So the variant name and the script property needs to match. And this is also partially why we use also picture with P capital letter, right? They need to match your variants exactly, otherwise it just doesn't work. And yeah, if you want to make sure that you know how your inputs are working, you can just say here console log inputs, and when you will be exporting your script to the runner, you can just check the console of your browser and see what kind of inputs you're getting from 3dbits app. So maybe one last thing that I want to also do is I want to just upload some picture here. So I've uploaded this bucket now, which represents the media picture, and I will just preview the product now. And you will see that we have 3D environment here on the top. And here we have a picture that we've just uploaded. If we want to get rid of the picture, we need to go back into the template. So go here, view template. And here in bit by bit runner theme app extension block, there's this option called remove children before prepend. And this will get rid of the picture. Basically, you will be left with 3D canvas only. And if you want to keep the picture, keep it. It doesn't matter. If you want to, just use whatever Shopify sees as a default place for anything extra for the product, you won't need to try and prepend. So you can just hit this button. Then the picture will appear where the picture always appears, and then your 3D models will be appearing next, to where the block is being placed. So it can be here on top of the product. You can just move it below your configurations like that. So this also works. Or you can even move it, into completely separate section if you want to. But yeah, I prefer the default feeling of Shopify. So this is why this option was created, to try and prepend the canvas to the media element of the picture. And yeah, it will just remove the picture as well. So the idea of this picture is, of course, that you would have something to represent your product on the SEO, and that's really nice. But then when you open the product, you can just view it in 3D experience immediately. I hope you understood this tutorial. It's not the hardest one, I guess, to understand. We didn't use any parametric geometry in this case, but this is also a very common example where you maybe already have your 3D model. Maybe you have some textures, like, maybe you want to change your color from black to white or something. Then you will only need some texture files, and you will only need a GLB file, for example, or GLTF. So this is it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it was useful. and let's see each other in the next ones. Cheers.